Hey everyone, this is Paulina on the Finnish Path. Welcome to my series of sample readings. Now, those of you who have been watching this series, you already know that I use a lot of spreads. I use mainly spreads when I read for my querents, and it just occurred to me that perhaps you would like to see how these spreads work and how I interpret them. And today we are going to move on from the relationship spreads we've been going through earlier. And this spread today is, this spread answers a simple question with a simple yes or no answer. Well, actually that is not really all, because tarot cards are really reluctant to give any definite answers, simply because our future is not set in stone. I mean, we can influence our own future, so specific answers are not really, they might be relevant at that very moment, but a week from now things might have changed. So the cards don't really like giving a yes or a no answer. They usually give us a definite maybe, could possibly be kind of answers. But this spread, or actually it's not even a spread really, it's a system. But using this system we get a short answer, yes or no, or something in between. But in addition to that, we also get a lot of insight into why. And this way we also we can also see how we ourselves can influence the situation. Now, there is no actual person I will be doing this reading for. This is a sample reading to a non-existent person, but let's just make up that we have a question, and the question is, will I get the job I interviewed for? And this is what we will try to answer as best we can. This system, by the way, that I'm using, this is not my own. This was introduced by Ruby Slipper Astrology, and you can find the link to their blog and to the posting where they introduced this system in my blog. So no credit to me for this. But this is a really good system. I have found that this is actually very accurate and very helpful. Now, the idea here, the basic idea, is to find 3 aces in a certain number of cards. And the way we do this is that we will start drawing cards into 3 different piles. And to each pile we will draw a maximum of 13 cards. But if there is an ace before we get to the 13, then that pile is done and we move on to the next one. So here we go. Starting the counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got the ace of wands. Excellent, first pile is done. Moving on to the next. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, didn't find an ace here, but since there are 13 cards in this pile is done. And then the last pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, still no ace. There we go. Our piles are done. I'll just move these in the about in the middle of the screen. So we got one ace and two other cards, and these are the cards we are concentrating on. The rest of the cards here play no role here. Now the answers, the system of the answers is that if we did in fact have an ace on top of each pile, then our short answer would be yes. The answer to your question is yes. Yes, you will get the job you interviewed for. And if we hadn't found this one ace, if this was our situation, we had no aces here, then the answer obviously would be no. Most probably you will not be offered the job you interviewed for, not at the moment anyway. This is what the cards are telling you right now. But we got one ace and two other cards, and this means a weak yes, means that it is possible that the answer is yes. Had we drawn two aces and one other card, if we had two aces, the answer would be a probable, a strong yes. It is very probable you will be offered this job. And again, like I said, three aces would be yes, you will be offered the job. So these are the four different answers we can get from this draw. So what we got here is a weak yes. It's possible. It's not very probable that you will be offered the job, but it is possible. Well, giving an answer like this to the querent is, well, it's very short. It's not really all that helpful and would be wasting the cards on the tables to stop here. So there's a lot more we can read from this. For example, we can look at the ace or aces we got. Look at their suits. Now the suits are relevant here in showing us which aspect of life or what energies are aiding us in getting the yes answer. And this, of course, is the Ace of Wands. Wands are the element of the wands is fire, and wands in themselves, they mean action and passion and creativity and adventure. Now, these are the things with our non-existent querent. These are the characteristics that play in their favor when they are deciding, when this company is deciding who they are going to employ. And if there is, for example, a situation where our querent is asked to come to another interview, these are the aspects they should kind of try to promote, because these are the aspects, the querent's sense of creativity and being action oriented and having passion. Things like these are the things that their possible future employer is interested in. That's their strengths in this particular situation. So looking at the ace or aces we have, reading their suits gives a lot more depth depth to the answer we are giving to the querent. And then the other cards that are here, we have two other cards here. So these two cards are the ones that are kind of, wait, trying to turn my hand so that you can see. These two other cards are the reason why the answer is not a simple yes, you'll get the job. These are the things that are blocking the querent, is hindering them and is stopping them from getting a clear yes. And why is it so difficult for me to hold this? I don't know. It's usually a lot easier for me to hold these cards up. Wait, okay, let's see. Perhaps this works. Yeah, the cards we got is 2 of Pentacles and 3 of Pentacles. So it's all just Pentacles. That's actually really interesting, because this is supposed to be career reading in a way. The question is about a job, and here we have Pentacles that and Pentacles are about work and money and material things, about home and health and security and stuff like that. So, well, now, looking at these two cards here, these are very low numbers, so I'm getting the getting an idea that perhaps what is stopping the employer from offering this job to the querent is actually that they are not very experienced. They are in the beginning of their professional life. Numbers 2 and 3. Also, number 2 means, amongst other things, it means choice or making a decision, being torn in two in a way. And number 3 is early success and balance. Well, thinking about this situation, these numbers don't really give us a lot, except that perhaps the interviewer felt that the querent wasn't really serious about their application. That could be it. It could also be that the employer feels that the querent perhaps couldn't fit in properly into their team of workers. Something like this. It's a funny thing, when there is a real person that I'm making the reading for, the cards open up a lot easier. But now, since there is no one person I am kind of reading for and sensing, it's these are just cards, so it's really difficult for me to kind of just come up with some relevant interpretation to a non-existent situation, if you like. But this is the technique that I use. This is how I try to interpret these other cards that are not aces, cards that are blocking. There's a lot of information to be had from these. And then I also look at all the suits here on the table, and we are missing the cups and the swords. Cups is emotion, and swords is thought and intelligence and thought processes. And the fact that the pentacles are, we have 2 pentacles here. suggests that this is, the whole question is about material things and about security and work and all that. It confirms that. It's also, there's also once here, which is action. So getting this job would be important for the querent on that level as well. I mean, it would give them something meaningful to do, perhaps. But they are not feeling very emotional about this, since there are no cops. And perhaps they are not applying for a job where they would need a lot of, would need to use their head a lot, since there are no souls here. Okay, now there are limits, obviously, to this system. Oh, I forgot to say. Oh, sorry, let's backtrack a little. About the aces. There's one more thing you can read from the aces, especially if there are, well, especially if there is just one ace, like now. It's the possible timeline of all of this going on. Kind of suggesting when would be most the best time for them to be looking for a job, for example, something like this. The wands are they are summertime and daytime, and they can also suggest a number of days. So depending on the situation, depending on the querent, what kind of feel I get from the querent, I would know if this ace meant that the best time for them to apply for this job would be the next summer, or that they would get perhaps another shot to this particular job in a matter of days. But since there is no actual person I'm doing the reading for, this is, it's all left a bit cryptic to me. It's just cards, just technique. But that's one more thing you can read out of this spread. But that is actually about it. This spread is a really, really good spread to answer very simple yes/no questions. And it's very accurate, I have found. And it's also, it gives you more than just the yes or no things. But if, for example, this particular non-existent querent would want to know what they can do to make it more probable for them to get this particular job or to do better in the next interview, then it would be a good idea to do a new reading, not try to get this information from these cards, because it is just not necessarily there. But do a new reading, perhaps use a different kind of spread, something that is more, goes into more detail. But this is a good tool when you need to give a quick answer to your querent, a yes or a no or something in between. Okay. And now I will be writing all this down in my blog, as I usually do. And you can find it there, this writing. And if you like to watch, or sorry, if you like to follow this series of sample readings, then you can subscribe to my blog. You can add your email address there, and that way you will be notified whenever I post anything new. But also, if you prefer watching this, if you prefer watching to reading, then you can also apply to my YouTube channel, and it will be really easy for you to do that, because at the end of this video there will be my logo, a small logo like this, that will appear to the lower right hand side corner here. And if you click that, then it's really easy for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And also, like I said, this is one of the readings I do for my querents, for my clients. And if you feel that you would need an answer like this for any question you might have, then you can find this product, this reading, in my web shop. It's under the category of quick and easy readings, and the name of this reading is yes or no answer to one question, and you can find it there. Now, the next time I will be posting will be a week from now. It will be Wednesday, the 6th of June. Oh dear, summer is upon us. And at that time, we will be going through good advice spread. It's a 5-card spread that can be used for any situation at all, any walk of life. Even when you just need good advice, that spread is really handy. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will return a week from now. Thank you. Hey, hey.